Good evening. Today we're going to be doing a tune in the style of Sosa, PAWSA, Cloonee, all the usual suspects. So let's get into it.
Laser, illa, fellas, stellar, killer. If I can't say that stop like Godzilla. Baby, we can do this. Take your time, take your crop. We can do this shady. I said, ladies, don't panic. If the funk fanatic, baby, we can do this. Take your time, take your crop. We can do this shady. I said, ladies, don't panic. If the funk fanatic, killer. Stay out, we rock hard, and you blame them. Everywhere, and they never beat. Stay out, we rock hard, and you blame them. Everywhere, and they never beat. Stay out, we rock hard, and you blame them. Everywhere, and they never beat. Stay out, we rock hard, and you blame them. Everywhere, and they never beat.
All right, let's listen from the top.
We rock stages, we rock on and 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 Son, roll it back one, brother say kick one. Check one, first, but son is the sixth one. Give it J shots with the minor taser. It's me, Nick, the triple X one blazer. Illa, rock fellas, killer. If I can't sing, I stop like Godzilla. Face fighter, no style taker. I white on you fake snotty dreads from Jamaica. Smoke on my raisin, shit got me wasted. I'll leave out now, I'm back for your blazer. Illa, rock fellas, killer. If I can't sing, I stop like Godzilla. Baby, we can do this. Take your time, take your crop. We can do this shady. I said, ladies, don't panic. If the funk fanatic, baby, we can do this. Take your time, take your crop. We can do this shady. I said, ladies, don't panic. If the funk fanatic, killer. Stay out, we rock hard, and you blame them. Everywhere, and they never beat. Stay out, we rock hard, and you blame them. Everywhere, and they never beat. Stay out, we rock hard, and you blame them. Everywhere, and they never beat. Stay out, we rock hard, and you blame them. Everywhere, and they never beat.
All right, let's run through it. So first of all is the vocal. I get a lot of people asking me where I get my vocals from. And because I was doing this kind of song, I looked on all of the artists that I was going to try to emulate. I think it was a Cloonee song. And he did a remix by these guys called Funk Du Beast. Very typical 90s hip hop kind of sound. So I chose one of their songs that was one of my favorites. And I lifted the vocals. So we got the original vocals and I've cut it up. So it's not the original structure. So I've just cut it up. So we've got a bit of a hook in the drop, got a bit more of a rhythm with the vocals in the build up, and then the intro we've got this sort of weird little scratchy little bit. So structure of the vocal in this kind of song is one of the most important things because actually it's a very minimal production, so you need to get the vocals right. The vocals in this don't sound amazing because it's like a AI rip, and normally Cloonee actually has really dry vocals, so he doesn't have much reverb on it at all. So first thing we're doing is we're bringing in this little hip hop step.
We rock stages, we rock on and we rock stages, we rock on and we rock stages, we rock on and Son, roll it back one, brother say kick one.
And then as we go into the verse of this vocal, we've got some interesting little bits of effects because the effects are quite important in these because there's not a load of production going on. Choosing the right kind of samples that are interesting in terms of the effects are quite important. So I've got this weird sounding downlifter. Got a lot of character to it, so you can really hear it, and it's not just a generic white noise sweep.
Son, roll it back one, brother say kick one. Check one, but son.
And we come straight in with these off hats. Not all of them are the same, so I've switched it up slightly, so they're not all just one sample hitting at the same time. They've got a bit of variation, so it keeps this bit interesting.
Give it J shots with the minor taser. It's me, Nick, the triple X one blazer.
And we just come in with some claps. And then some offbeat perks. And both of those are ever so slightly off the grid. And we've made it really short. So we haven't left this sample as long as it actually is. We've shortened it a little bit. Because actually, with these kind of offbeat ghost percussions, you only really need to hear the transient because that's the thing that's creating the groove. So you don't actually need it overlapping so much when it's this long because it just eats up too much space.
Godzilla, fake fighter, no style taker. I white on you fake snotty dreads from Jamaica. Smoke on my raisin, shit got me wasted. I'll leave
Very minimal production, so all we're doing in this bit before the drop, we're just taking out those drums. I've just added some crashes. And then we've just automated the decay of the vocals up a little bit. So it just introduces a little bit of difference because we're not adding loads of layers. To make it interesting, we have to change what's already in there. So what's already in there in this case is the vocal. And just by adding a little bit of delay, we've got it on 2, ping pong. We've just taken the dry wet up to about 19 and then up to 33. Just adds a little bit of difference in that section.
Take a white girl, you flex, naughty dreads from Jamaica. Smoke on my razor, shit got me wasted. I'll lean out now, I'm back for your place.
And then we've just got some little, very basic effects. We've just got a white noise sweep going into that drop. And then a low impact as well. So that just helps the production to keep ticking along. So you've got these little bits of ear candy, even though the foundation of the track isn't really changing at all. Because we've got the same bass line in this verse that we have in the drop.
Stella, bass writer, dope style taker. I wait on your flex, naughty dreads from Jamaica. Smoke on my razor, shit got me wasted. I'll lean out now, I'm back for your place. Illa, fella Stella, killer. If I can't say that stop like that.
And then in this pre-drop bit, we suck everything out. So it's only the vocal. And then we come back with this hip-hop stab.
Blazer, illa, fella Stella, killer. If I can't say that stop like that.
And then we've got 4 kicks mimicking the rhythm of the vocal.
That stop like that.
So everything feels cohesive rhythmically in this whole section.
Blazer, illa, fella Stella, killer. If I can't say that stop like that. Baby, we can do this. Take your time, take your crop. We can do this shit.
And then we just come in with a kick. It's a pretty hard-hitting kick. It's a bit of a techno-y kind of kick. And then with our drums, one thing that's interesting in this kind of genre is it's not all offbeat hats like you would have generally in house. So rather than the whole of the drum groove being this, always being those offbeats, we've got these downbeats as well. So it's a t-t-t-t-t-t rather than t-t-t-t-t. So we have the hats hitting on the kick and the snare as well as the offbeats. And then this kind of genre always does these little kick fills. So rather than just 4 to the floor the whole time, we have these little kick fills that we've got here. Bump, bump, bump. Bump, 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 bump. So our drum fills are being done by our kicks. And then we come to our bass. These kind of basses are quite difficult to write, I feel, because it's very repetitive and you need to find a hook that works well in a really short space of time that can be copied and copied and copied. So what I did was listen to the vocal in our drop. So I knew this was the hook that I was going to land on.
Baby, we can do this. Take your time, take your crop.
So I sort of tried to make the bass in a similar vein to that vocal.
Baby, we can do this. Take your time, take your crop. We can do.
So it's a similar rhythm and some of the notes are hitting in similar places, but we're not sticking religiously to the rhythm and to the melody of that vocal. So in some bits, we're mimicking it.
Baby, we can do this. Take your time.
So that na 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 is pretty similar, but for the rest of it, we keep that same groove going, even though the vocal changes.
Baby, we can do this. Take your time, take your crop. We can do this shady. I said, ladies, don't panic. It's the fun fanatic.
And with these kind of songs, generally you'll find that the bass lines are often using notes that are one semitone apart. So we're starting on the F, which is the root note, then we're going up to this D sharp and then up to the E. So we get this interesting melody that is a bit dissonant with these semitones apart from each other. And that's what gives it that kind of dark feel. And so it doesn't feel so repetitive throughout. I've just made these little changes. So at the end here, we go up to the A sharp.
Baby, we can do this. Take your time, take your crop. We can do this shady. I said, ladies, don't panic. It's the fun fanatic. Baby, we can do this. Take your time, take your crop. We can do this shady. I said, ladies, don't panic. It's the fun fanatic.
And then we just have a little bit of automation at the end here. So it just opens up at the end of the phrase, and then as we go back down into the second section, we pull the cutoff back down again. And so the sound design for this, very simple. We've got 2 AT Model Ds, which are in S2 tables analog AT Model D. Our first oscillator is -1 octave. We're at 0 on the phase and 0 on the random. Wavetable position is at 3. Oscillator 2 is at -2. Wavetable position is at 4. And our phase is at 350-ish. And then this is our envelope here. And our envelope 2 is affecting the cutoff. So that's what gives it that pluck. And then with our effects, we've got a splitter. So we've separated our lows and our highs at 131 hertz. So we've got nothing on the lows, but on our highs, so we have a bit of distortion, and our envelope 2 is affecting the drive of that distortion. And we've got this delay effect, which is a Haas effect. So you're putting a delay on the left and right. so it makes it sound wider. So our left channel is at 1 millisecond and our right channel is at 10 milliseconds. So without that, and with, you can hear that real width. And we didn't want that in the lows, which is why I've added this splitter. And then on both the highs and the lows, we've got a little bit of EQ, a little bit compression, and that's literally it.
I said, ladies, don't panic. If the fun fanatic, baby, we can do this. Take your time, take your crop, we can do this shady. I said, ladies, don't panic. If the fun fanatic,
and then as usual, we have a little bit of silence in this little gap. So we've taken the drums and the bass out in this section. So it's only the vocals that are playing. And we've also got this little spin back as well.
Ladies, don't panic. If the fun fanatic,
and then we have this little hip hop stab on the downbeat. And then just in this second section, just to elevate it a little bit, I've added some open hats. And we've also added a second clap. And we've added these little clap fills at the end as well. And in line with the vocal, because with these songs, the vocal is the master. So I feel like there were little bits in this vocal that needed to be lent into a little bit more. So if we listen to the vocal by itself. So in these little bits, we've got this little scratch. And actually, I felt it was more impactful that we took some elements out while this scratch was going on. So we've taken the bass out in those sections. So that first hit the bass that would normally be down here, we've taken that out. So we just have a little bit of a gap. So we hear that little scratch a little bit more. And then when the bass comes back in, it's a little bit more impactful. And we've done the same here, halfway through this drop, but this time we've taken out the kick as well. So every time in this post-drop section, we're taking out the bass in that first note where the scratch is, and halfway through, we're taking out the kick, and we're also doing it in this section here. And it makes it groove a little bit better. And there we have it. Very, very simple production, but as long as you get the bass line right and you get the drums right and you get a good vocal, that is pretty much all you need. Thank you very much for watching, and I do hope it's helped. Please do subscribe, and thank you for your mother.